Hey, Angie, just at the shop, getting ready to do your brew, your batch. Just want to talk about some of the stuff we came up with here. We grabbed some crispy Quebec yeast from Escarpment Labs that we're going to do this brew that honors some of your requests. I think the key points were we'd like a Euro lager. We would like it crispy. We want it to ferment faster than a lager can ferment, and because we need it bottled and done quicker. And we would like it light, low cal, maybe 4.5, but don't make dad laugh at you, so maybe a little higher. So we're gonna shoot for 5. Something we're gonna add in here is Amilo 300. It's an amilo glucosides. And what this thing does is it's a fungal agent that converts unfermentable sugars into fermentable sugars. It'll be used to get the final gravity down from probably 1009 down to 10 flat. Ideally get rid of all the sugars, and that will help us get something that is low in calorie, take the sweetness out, and it'll just provide for a nice crisp beer. So I'll take you in here, and we're for the grain bill. Actually, I'll talk about the mash. Steve Smith, our brewmaster, the guy, first brewmaster at the Brick, great guy. He gave me some ideas for this lager. We're gonna do a couple of stages on the mash. We're gonna come in and sit at 50 degrees for about 10 minutes. The grain, the malt we're using is modified, so we don't necessarily need to do this, but we'll get a little bit more out of it. It's a low protein malt that we're using. So we're gonna sit at 50 degrees for 10 minutes. This will produce some extra proteins, great for the yeast. And then we're gonna run up to the beta amylase step, which converts some of the sugars here. And then we're gonna move up to, alpha amylase, move up to beta amylase at 72. So we'll cook it, we'll mash about 30 minutes at 65, 66, and then about 30 minutes at 72. I'm gonna hold it for 15 minutes. And then we're gonna boil off and circulate, and then we're gonna sparge water will probably be 76. We'll come over and take a peek at the grain bill. Here's Scott.
Going.
Scott's pumped. So in here we have got a Dingelmann's. It is an interesting malt. Hold on, let me check it. I won't want to get this wrong. Yes, Dingelmann's Belgian Pilsen. So the whole thing is not technically a lager, but it's going to get a lager taste, feel, crisp, clean experience. So this Dingelmann's is the Euro 2-row, low protein. This kind of hits that Euro flavor we were talking about. And we also have Cara Pils and Cara Foam. All right, mashing in on our pilot system, which is a Brewha. The Brewha is an amazing device. So we got the Carahel and Cara Foam at also about 1.5 pounds of each. We've got 24 pounds of the Dingelmann's. So the Carahel and Cara Foam is going to give us a fuller body, sweet malt character, which should make up for getting rid of every last bit of sugar in there. It'll add a slight bit of that sweet malt character, but still be very clean. There's also a little bit of acidulated malt because the water is it's very alkaline. So we also hit it with some phosphoric acid to make sure the pH is just right. This particular type of yeast enjoys a pH below 5.2, which we'll get down there for sure. Oh, it already looks good.
Smells delicious.
Oh boy. Smells delicious. You'll have to come for the next batch. Ooh, yummy. So this particular device here is a 4-in-1. There's a mash colander here where we drop the grains in and we do the mash and the boil in here and we recirculate. And the whole process happens here. The boil happens. The boil is fantastic at making sure there's no nasty invaders in the process without having to use too much sterilizers, extraneous sterilizers. And then what happens is we pitch the yeast when it gets down and we lock it up and let it ferment. Everything happens in one vessel. It makes it very simple to not have our batch infected along the process by moving through multiple vessels. So what I'll do, we'll stop there and I will touch base in the next step.